Welcome, everybody. It's Talking Kaizer Chiefs, and it's Peter du Toit again with Tsepo Masilela, who I reckon, Tsepo, you must be the most capped left back ever to have played for Bafana Bafana. True or not?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I'm not big on these stats and what. I don't know. I'm not sure. In the great David Nyati, I think you're also, if I'm not mistaken, maybe.
Kaizer Chiefs player, the most capped Kaizer Chiefs player at left back playing for Bafana. Nyati was played all over the place. I think you played only at Kaizer Chiefs. Right, guys, we've got an interesting show here today. I go in the comment section and people DM me, and guys have DM'd me about this subject. And as always, you are our bosses. What you ask for, what you tell us, we will listen. And that's a promise. And I got DM'd, and in the comment section, a big question is Kaizer Chiefs are sitting pretty at the league table right now, third in place. If they win their game in hand on Sundowns, they're actually equal in top with a positive goal difference of 7, 13 scored, 6 against. Things have never looked better for Kaizer Chiefs for a long time, and 10 out of 10 to the club, the caretaker coaches, and the players there, and obviously the fans. The question is, and by the way, we've still got Africa and the Nedbank Cup to come. So things are looking good, Kaizer Chiefs. Well done. Now, Kaizer Chiefs fans, the question that you said to me, what could derail this? And what does the club have to be careful about? And the critical issue here, there are 7 players that, as far as we can ascertain, with 6 plus 1, 7 players who may leave the club at the end of the season. We've spoken to agents, obviously on the news, but none of this can be 100% confirmed, but because clubs are very quiet about it. But there are 7 players, 1 on loan, that may not be there at the end of the season. The question is, can this type of thing derail a dressing room if it's not handled correctly, obviously? And B, and Tsepo is the best man, has said, what should Chiefs do with these 7 players? What should Kaizer Chiefs do with these 7 players? And guys out there, let's see if you agree with Tsepo and myself to a lesser extent. In the comment section, let us know. Before we start, I want to stress, you are our bosses. We listen to you. Please, guys, 40% of the guys watching are subscribed. 60% of you aren't. Please press that subscribe button. It really helps with the algorithm. And you can go in the comment section and say, hey, Peter, I'm your boss. This is what I'm asking for. This is what I'm telling you. This is what I don't like. This is what I like. I go through all those messages. I respect every single one of you, even when you criticize, because you know what? You're a football fan and you're on the session and you're on the site. You have a right to criticize. So I appreciate it. I accept it all. Big shoulders. We can take it. We can get in the tackle. Okay, guys. So Tsepo, let's go first. As I said, Chiefs sitting pretty, looking good. 7 players. Brandon Petersen. I spoke to his agent, Lance Davids. He played 5 games last season, already 14 games. He's 32. Boomer 30 on the bench. Natwari 26. Do they keep him? Do they offer him a new contract? We got Dillan Solomons. He only played 6 games this season, 16 last. He's 29 years of age. There's Monyane and Frosler, who are quality fullbacks. Do they extend his contract? Kwinika, he's 31, 11 games this season, 6 games last. We've got Dortley. We've got McCarthy, but both left-footers, both youngsters. But there's Miguel, 29, Missy Mango, who actually is 28. I thought he'd much younger. Cross, but he can also play left side. So what do they do there? Sirino, 14 games this season, 25 last season, 34 years of age, though. And he's obviously only playing a cameo role at times in games. And then there's Shaba, 21, who can play in his position. Sele at 28 can play in his position. Sele, I should say. And then Maboa at 31. Then on wingers, you've got Mmodi. Unconfirmed reports that he's actually signed a 1+1 deal. So let's because it's not confirmed, let's actually look at him as well. 24 games last season, 12 this season. He's 32 though, but obviously Velibaya is there who can play in his position. And Lepepo can also play on the left, the same, right-footed player. Then there's Ox, obviously unconfirmed reports that he's got a 1-year extension as well. So, but let's bring him in the mix. 18 games last season, already 15 games this season. He's 31, and Glover can play in the similar kind of role as well. He's 29, but I think Chiefs are short of a youngster in there. And then last of all, Mayo, who's on loan till the 30th of June with a buy option, 4 games this season, and he's 27. Got Igodoro, officially 24 years of age. I must admit, he must have had a tough life. No disrespect. Dupree at 28, Hubert 21, Silva 29, Bartman 19, Shlongwane at 19. So there's a lot of youngsters there as well in experience. So let's look at it first of all. 2 points, Tsepo. The 2 big points here. One, what would you do if you were on the Kaizer Chiefs management team? What would you be saying to the board that you should do with these players? Bear in mind, you've got Africa, you've got the Nedbank Cup, and you want to get in the top 3 position. And then what effect could it have, this decision, on players if it's not handled correctly? Well, let's talk about dealing with the situation as a player. Couldn't these things affect the dressing room contract negotiations in the second half of the season?
No, I've been in this situation before, Peter, but I didn't see any, negative stuff from the guys that contracts were coming to an end. I remember when I was there, we had a lot of good players actually that left on the free. I think we had Solonyane, we had Morgan Gold, we had Majoro, just to name a few, that guys that left on the free. And you look at those profile and those players, you get surprised. Oh, how did they leave on the free? But it didn't really affect, because in a team normally the guys that are normally playing a lot, they happy. The guys that don't get game time, they you find that group that's always, negative or grumpy, or they don't like the coach, or the coach doesn't like me. So it's always the case, But when I look at the list here, Petersen has been great this season too.
Just before you go into the list, what it seems like, though, that Kaizer Chiefs management handle these situations well, that they don't let it get out of hand. It doesn't affect the dressing room. They seem to handle it well. So your answer on that one is, with your experience of being in that dressing room for many years, with your experience of dealing with the Kaizer Chiefs management in many years, from your experience, and therefore there's no reason why it shouldn't be any different going forward. These contract negotiations are handled well, and it doesn't affect the dressing room or doesn't really affect the team. And there's no reason why it should be a problem going forward, which is a good indictment of Kaizer Chiefs management. So let's go to the players.
Petersen has done well, this season. He's been a pillar at the back, and it's a pitch that we almost halfway, and a lot of contracts renewals depend on how we finished, which position do we finish going into the new season. We anticipate how many games. Let's say you finish again out of the top 8 already, you've got less games. Let's say you don't make it to, you don't win Nedbank, or you don't finish top 3. You're not going to compete in Africa. So again, it's less games. So these things also, it depend on how you finish and which position did you finish. So as it stands right now, I know it's not, towards the end of the season where the picture is becoming more clear. They're in a good position. As it stands right now, I would say Petersen has done well. And strange enough, they've got three players in each position. So at some point, they'll have to, chop or trim, because also some coaches, they don't like working with a big squad. And I would say Petersen, I would give him a contract. Be it a 1 year, because there's this stigma in South Africa. When you're over 30, you get 1 year, and 1+1, yes. And
I would agree with you. Last season, I wouldn't have said they should extend Petersen, but on this season's form, I would definitely extend him as well, and I'm pretty certain they will. The question always is as well, what are the alternatives for these players? And if you look at Petersen as goalkeeper, Sundowns don't need another goalkeeper. Pirates, they've got 2 good youngsters. Cheney could probably do with extra opposition. So his only alternative to, where you take the money that these guys earn at Chiefs, Pirates, and Sundowns, his only alternative would possibly be Pirates, and I'm not saying they'd be going for him. So as a player, you're also got to say, am I prepared to leave Kaizer Chiefs? It's normally, therefore, very much in Kaizer Chiefs' favor. They're the ones with a strong hand, and it's really their choices most of the time here. But I agree with you. I think they will definitely extend his contract, in particular because they made him captain. Let's talk about a slightly different scenario. Solomons, there's 2 other fullbacks there. Monyane is in the Bafana reckoning when he's fit. He's played exceptionally well since he's been signed. And the mere fact that they signed him when they already had 2 fullbacks in Solomons and Frosler says a lot as well. Would they keep the situation being the same? Because Solomons, the one thing he's got slightly beyond Monyane and Frosler is he can play wide right as a midfielder per se as well. But is he at his current age, 29, is he somebody that an extension? Or are there young players coming through? I watched the Diski team a couple of times now at Chiefs. They've got some good young players, by the way, some exceptionally good young players. But What would you do with Solomons?
The Solomon case, I would review it end of the season because when you look at the guy here is competing with, they got this tendency of not playing 10 straight games on the trot. They get injuries, they get these, knocks, and they out for 3 games, 2 games. So you have to monitor on how do they do in this season because already Munyai, we've had a case where he was injured for some time, and so your decision also is based on the number of games these guys have played, all three of them. Because at this stage, we saw Solomon is slightly ahead of River. It looks like it, it looked like it's Munyai, Solomon, then River. But also River is versatile, he can play on the left, we can play on the right back, at left back, So this one, it's a tricky one. It's one where you maybe, end of the season where you do your squad,
Your point there, Kaizer, if you are sitting on the Chiefs management, you'd be saying, we'll review this one at the end of the season. The same story with Solomons. Where else would he go? Review at the end of the season. And I agree with you. That makes sense because it'll also depend if Chiefs qualify for Africa again. And if they qualify for Africa, and depending on how long their current run is in for Africa. So a lot of things will depend on the African run. But your point on Solomons is, let's wait and see till the end of the season. Fans out there, viewers out there, please let us know so far if you agree with Tsepo on the players. Kwinika, he's, as I said, 11 games this season. He's not a youngster. He's 31. There's a lot of centre backs. I've got my views on this. What are yours? I think I know what you're going to say. Stay, go,
extend. Kwinika is one of the players. He comes from the development ranks. Obviously he left the team at some point. He went to Vets, went to, I think it was loaned Richards Bay, Stellis. He came back now, and he's one of the guys in the change room that you need. He's a leader and he's a very disciplined boy. He's a good example to the young boys. And if you look at his story now, when he came back, there was a lot of expectations. He played, and then he got some stick. He was out of the picture at some point. People wanted him gone, but look at how he's come back, to a point where he was even given an arm belt, in a couple of games this season. And in the last season run in the Nedbank Cup, and then you look at those things. He's got a character. He's got the mental strength, to be at a team like Kaizer Chiefs. Because any other player would have, given up, give him a chance again. And then they blame the coaches. But this guy was out for long, but it shows that even though he was not playing, he kept on working hard, waited for his chance, and he grabbed his chance. So I would extend Kwinika.
And for me, one of the most impressive things is when he comes on, even if he's been out, when he plays, even if he's been out 4, 5, 6, 7 games, when he's on the pitch, it's as if he's been playing 100 games. He's demanding things, pointing things out to other players. He's aggressive. He's a leader. Incidentally, I see him and Miguel as direct competition for the right-sided position. And me personally, I'd play him ahead of Miguel, but that's a separate issue. But guys out there, Tsepo says keep. Then we Sirino, 34 years of age, a lot of skill, getting less and less game time all the time. Is he a player? Has he got one more season in him?
Sirino's case, when you're on big money and your impact is little or mostly from the bench, and then again you look at in the attack, you have a Vilagazi that's coming to the party. He's been promising, but he's getting more game time right now. You have him do that. You feel that you're building a team around. It looks like they want to build a team around him. They want to protect him. They want him to do well. They want him to be in that Bafana team. Every time I see their lineup, they hardly change him. He can rest for 1 game or 2, but you can see that they want to build a team around him. So now it leaves Sirino. It leaves a question mark on Sirino. Firstly, when you're at that age and you're earning a big salary, so it goes to negotiations where if you can take a pay cut and you get 1 more year.
My question, though, I mean, he's quite a controversial character. But funny enough, when he's on the bench and a goal scored, he's there joining in as a sub. players celebrating. So he looks as if he's very happy at the club. My question is this, though, is that would he be happy handing over the crown to Shaba and Vilakazi? Because Shaba and Vilakazi are the two players that are the future of this team. They both got great ability on the ball. They're typical Kaizer Chiefs players. The crowd loves them. They have got to be given more and more responsibility. And with Sirino there, is it maybe good that he's there for another year to sort of come in as a supporter to them on and off the pitch? Or him being there, is he going to be, the question is he harming their progress? And I'd like the viewers out there, let us know what you think. Tsepo says, wait and see.
Sorry, just to add on the Sirino part, I don't really think it's harming their progress. When I look at, because nowadays the social media, I can see how the boy, the young Vilakazi, it looks like they are close. He respects him, and it's more like he's taken him under his wing to guide him. And then it showed a different side of Sirino, because sometimes we only see what we see on the field of play or what we read. But when I follow that closely, the relationship with him and Vilakazi, it shows a different side. And I've got a feeling that he's at the age, he's at peace. Like he's given them the crown to say, boys, as much as players want to play, want to be on the field, but you see, he's excited when they score. He runs to the corner flag, and the little minutes that he's got, look at the impact. He could have easily say, okay, I don't care, I just do my own thing. But you look at the impact that it's had. I remember when they played in Durban, where he played the cross for Silver to finish with a head. It shows again that he I think he's made peace, and is at the point where he wants to see Kaizer Chiefs do well. Because
you've changed my mind. I'm with you. I would keep him, and he's playing a much more mature role. Viewers out there, I'm not sure if you changed your mind as well, but Tsepo certainly changed mine. The next two players, they're unconfirmed reports, by the way, that they actually contracts have been sorted. That Mmodi is on a 1+1 deal, and Ox also got a 1-year extension. So the others, we're pretty certain that they're still in negotiation stages. But these two, Mmodi, would you have agreed and given him a 1+1 deal? If you were on the technical committee, it seems like it's already been done. Would you have done that?
Yes, I would have given. They don't have too many options on the wide areas. They have. I see now they've got Velabai also. It's gonna push Mmodi a bit. But if you look at the Kaizer Chiefs team, they've got Lelepo and Vilakazi, the young Vilakazi. Then they have Mmodi. Then a bit of Sirino. Sometimes he's wide, sometimes he plays as a 10. Now they have Velabai. So it's good. I think they need one more. Because Duba, you're not really sure if he's a winger, plays up top. So you need one more
winger. He's more up and down kind of midfield winger, as opposed to a wide man who's going to go past people and so on. And Ox is an interesting one, because he's the only real holding that holding midfielder role, breaking up plays. The only real one. I mean, Ndlovu can play in that role as well, but Ndlovu himself is what must be 29, 30 already. So yeah, Ndlovu is 29, turning 30. Ox is also no youngster. He's 30. So they've probably given an extension, but they definitely, in my opinion, need another player there to challenge who's an out and out, who will hold and protect that back four. Would you agree?
Yeah, I've said it before. They need another player, and they went and got Ndlovu and Mabue. So they also have a Tabo player. They have a Ngobo who can play, a bit of an 8 or a 6. So my thinking is, when they went and got Mabue and Ndlovu, I'm thinking maybe they wanted to play a 4-3 type of a system, but they haven't been given much chance, or we haven't seen them feature much. Ox is the one in that midfield who's been consistently playing, under these coaches. He's won a couple of men of the match awards, and if he goes on like this till the end of season, I think he should be rewarded.
So, Sepa, I think this is the one position that Chiefs have got to get, and I'm going to use a ridiculous example, but the world football is going that way, and I think Chiefs' game is designed for this. Is the Rodri type holding midfielder, the guy who can break up play, but actually is a playmaker at the same time. These are not easy players to come by. Obviously, there are not many in South Africa. Mokoena is the perfect example of that. Mokoena can break up play, and he can play.
And he can play.
But he's better with an Obas next to him or somebody else. But Allende is also that type of player, can break up play. And I think that's what and Pirates have got that to a great extent.
Yes, Nduli.
To an extent as well. So I think that's the one area where Chiefs are lacking to take them to the next level. But again, fans out there, let us know. Then the last one, he's only on loan, Mayo, till the end of the season. But at one stage, Chiefs had no strikers, and suddenly now you got Igadora, who's as I say, they say 24. You got Dupree, you got Duba, you got Silver, you got Bartman, who's going to be a special player. Shlongwane also looks like he's good. He's injured. Based on what you've seen and his reputation, is he top of the list? Because you're only going to keep a loan player if you've got to pay a fee if he's top of the list. Does he stay, or is it going to depend on how he finishes the season? I suppose that's the real answer.
I definitely it's going to depend on how he finishes. Also that incident where the way he was offside for that ball that was going in, the Mmodi, incident. So it also, put a bit of dent in him. But because he's a lone player, we'll have to work super hard to make the deal permanent. So it's one that's gonna be reviewed end of the season.
Yeah, he can also play wide right. He does like to come in from the right hand side. He did that at Cape Town City a lot. There are two other players we don't have to do that could also be on their way out. Chislett and Chinga, no appearances. But let's again see what happens in Africa. Guys, thanks very much for watching. Please let us know what you think in the comment section. Sepp and I will look at it and we'll come back to you, and also tell us what you want from Talking Kaizer Chiefs.